All right, we're back.
Before we make...
Welcome back, Spartans. Today we're going to be watching Why Brooklyn Nine-Nine Never Should Have Worked. Let's get into it.
Fine work, detective.
Testament to what can be achieved when you dress appropriately. Let's pound it out.
Oh, I'm immediately flashed by a guy in a Speedo. Good God.
First
Let's
teased
move on
Fox's
before I
Brooklyn
get-
Nine-Nine. They did
I'm gonna have to just move on from that before my shit just gets smites off of YouTube.
didn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence. The series looked like a rehash of some of the oldest and tiredest tropes in the police comedy genre, and the presence of Andy Samberg just made it all seem like an uninspired Saturday Night Live sketch, so nobody was expecting much. Turns out though, subverting expectations would be exactly what made Brooklyn Nine-Nine a classic.
Bing pot. Nope, I was gonna say bingo, but then I was like jackpot's better, but then it was too late. I was halfway through the word.
Bing pot works. It's taken off.
It's taken off.
But before we make our case, why not take a moment to subscribe to the Nerdstalgic channel? While working together on NBC's critically acclaimed hit series Parks and Rec, co-creator Michael Schur and writer, director, and producer Dan Gore decided to team up and create a new show. But to quote Schur, "It's hard to find areas in the comedy landscape that haven't been troughed. There hadn't been a major sitcom set in a police station since Barney Miller, so that's what they decided to develop." Once Andy Samberg, fresh off his 7-year run on SNL, signed on to star as Detective Jake Peralta, the show had a smooth ride through the development process. But when the first commercials started to drop, audiences weren't quite sure what to think.
What's wrong with you?
Never took off the Speedo. Big mistake. It is inside me.
Those early glimpses seemed to hint at a series where a cocky, young, white hotshot policeman outsmarts his mostly minority colleagues while playing juvenile pranks on his stodgy old superior. It sort of looked like someone had just cast Samberg in the Steve Guttenberg role from Police Academy, filed off the serial numbers, and then lazily made a series of it. And when the show itself premiered, the opening minutes of its pilot, which depicts Peralta gleefully cracking jokes while his Latina partner, Detective Amy Santiago, diligently works to unravel a case he's already solved, mostly through luck, didn't do much to dispel the impression. But by the end of that first episode, it was very clear that Brooklyn Nine-Nine was just setting our expectations so it could knock them all down. In fact, the show would
Interesting. Off the bat, we have some going against expectations.
quickly come to be known for deliberately and cleverly subverting widely held expectations of sitcoms and cop stories, as well as the racial stereotypes and traditional notions of masculinity those stories usually rest on.
A year ago, my wife and I had twin baby girls. They have adorable chubby cheeks. Ever since, I kind of got scared of getting hurt.
The police action usually just provided a framework for reinventing the types of characters and relationships we're used to seeing, and it was all pretty apparent right from the pilot. The first episode found the titular precinct being assigned a new commanding officer, the stoic and extremely formal Captain Raymond Holt. But Peralta's casual attitude, attire, and general disregard for procedure immediately puts him on Holt's bad side. Over the course of the story, the young detective makes several attempts to prove how effective he is despite being a rule breaker, and he is, in fact, pretty good at his job.
Does anyone here know why it's so important to me that you all dress appropriately? 4 highly trained detectives, and not one of you can solve this simple mystery.
Peralta realizes the captain is right, and his disregard for procedure, specifically his refusal to wear a tie, just alienates his fellow detectives and prevents him from really being part of his team.
It's a uniform. We're a team, and the tie is a part of that team's uniform, right?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine also made a point to
I mean, no shit, Sherlock.
not punch down with its humor. For example, in that same episode, Jake learns that Captain Holt is gay. A lot of comedies of the era would have taken the opportunity to have the hero make a crack at the expense of the captain, or the idea of working with a gay man. But the joke here winds up being that Jake, a trained detective, couldn't figure it out even though everyone else knew, as well as being a headline in the newspaper. Suddenly aware of the string of assumptions he made about Holt based on his stereotype, Jake humbles and becomes more open to what the captain has to teach him. And this becomes something of a model for how relationships on Brooklyn Nine-Nine function. The characters on the show usually treat each other like people with feelings and react to each other with compassion and an openness to growth. At least, they do when it really matters. So instead of spending the stories barking at the hero like a typical angry Black Chief character, the kind so brilliantly skewered in the previous year's 21 Jump Street reboot,
it ain't nothing but a stupid stereotype. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I'm black, and I work my ass off to be the captain. And sometimes I get angry.
Holt becomes a mentor and father figure to Jake.
Nice work.
Good. Thanks, Dad.
You just called Captain Holt Dad.
What? No, I didn't. I said thanks, man.
I believe you.
Thank you.
Son, you want to talk about it later over a game of catch?
I'd like that.
He's even there to tell Jake he's proud of him after Jake comes to terms how terrible his real father was in the emotional second season episode, Captain Peralta. And Holt is far from being the only typically stereotypical character in the ensemble to be so fully realized. Detective Rosa Diaz is held out as the usual tight-lipped, tough-as-nails cop.
Don't smile, I'm still mad at you.
I thought we were having a moment.
Moment's over, shut up.
But has a hidden sensitive side that opens the door to some surprisingly deep relationships.
I've only had Arlo for a day and a half. But if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Rosa is slowly revealed to be a doting friend to Jake, who in turn is there to support her when she comes out as
Honestly, I'm not getting interested in this. I think we're gonna switch over to Ultra Kill. Alright, just give me a sec to launch the game.